Ladies and gentlemen, this is my baby. Meet my baby, and his name is ESL. ESL cannot speak English, and I would like for him to speak English. I badly need him to speak English. He also wants to speak English. But before we begin learning, we were arguing. I was thinking which strategy is best suited for my baby to learn to speak English. I have one option, grammar. We can begin with grammar. Simple present, present continuous, past, modal verbs, present perfect, if clauses, etc. I can teach him all of that. This has advantages. If he knows how to use the simple present, all the rules, and he has done so many questions and he can get 100 from his exams, I think this will be amazing. This is option one. Option two is a strategy that is called mnemonic strategy. And I researched the benefits of this strategy and how it can be done. I'm going to share with you. Please let me know which strategy do you think will be most suitable for him. In the comment section, please let me know which strategy will be best suited for him. Now, the mnemonic strategy, we shall be using flashcards, lots of flashcards. For example, flashcards that show running, eating, jumping, tomatoes. So in these flashcards, he can learn fruits, vegetables, actions, different words, emotions like sleep, emotions like crying, happy, sad. He can learn all those vocabularies. And besides the flashcards, we can use TPR strategy. TPR strategy means total physical response. This is done by, for example, the teacher shows something and the student follows the thing. So my baby would have to, let's say, sit down and he sits, stand up and he stands, run, sleep, sit down slowly, sit down quickly. So we shall do such kind of activities with him in this strategy, and we shall, maybe I could buy him some translated books. For example, they have one language this side and another language explaining the same story or telling the same story. We could use lists of vocabularies. For example, this word means this word means this, like long lists, all short lists, but lists of words. It has to be something. And in these words, lists actually, it could be most common words. For example, we could say the most commonly used verbs, and he will learn those. The other thing, we could do some rhyming, some songs, something like that. And this is the mnemonic strategy. So which one do you think will be suitable? Because one side, grammar, the other side, vocabulary. I want him to speak really quickly. Please, in the comment section, let me know which strategy you think will be more suitable. So let's let him go. All right, so I've introduced the mnemonic strategy to you. I would like to discuss in details the benefits of the mnemonic strategy. This is best suitable for beginners because there is a time I had a student and we had just begun classes. She told me she went for a job interview and they asked her to read something and translate, I think. And she couldn't. And I thought, okay, in many cases, if you go for a job interview, there are certain things that they ask you. For example, talk about yourself. For example, they asked her to read something and translate. That was number 2. There is also another student who went for a job interview and they asked her, when was your date of birth? And usually if you do reading, if you're saying a date, I can't speak right now. If you're saying a date, you have to say, for example, 22nd of June, 23rd of April. So she knew the numbers, but she had never, she didn't know how to tell dates in English. So she said 22 September, something like this. And this showed her level was low. So I thought many of the daily incidences, or for example, many of the times when students want to learn English, they don't want to take exams. Many of them want to speak, most especially if they're learning it for their jobs. So learning grammar is an amazing thing. The only question is, when you're starting to learn grammar, where do you begin from? Simple present, the past, the future, which is easy, whereby you just add will and then will go, will eat, will sleep? Or do you begin with simple present, which is not very simple? It has he, she, it, add s, and some of them go doesn't, didn't, do you, make a question. All these details are very difficult for somebody who has no vocabulary. So my case, what I'm trying to say is that I think grammar should be maybe 10% of the class materials in the beginners level, and maybe activities like flashcards, TPR, books, for example, reading stories. I use stories in most of the classes, and there is a student who we have never done stories. We began from ABC and we went straight to reading stories, translating stories, and she went for an exam. She started taking classes, extra classes from a school. When she went for an exam, she got 100, and she had never taken, we had never done grammar, which means grammar is okay, but it has its limitations. So the mnemonic strategy involves no grammar at all, I could say. No grammar rules. I hope you have learned something from this video, because when I'm recording it, it feels like something is missing. And according to my notes, I have mentioned everything. So, thanks for listening to this video. If you have any questions, please ask in the comment section. Let me know. Let's continue this conversation. And if you think grammar is more suitable, please let me know. I would love to know. When you begin with grammar, where do you begin from? Because I'm always like confused. Like, you spend something like a whole month and the students still can't understand the rules of simple present. It is confusing. It has a lot of rules, stuff like that. So I thought reading could be reading, flashcards, TPR, translated books, lists, and maybe animation. Such stuff would be great. Rhymes. Actually, we did songs with the student I told you about who went for an exam and she got 100. We did some songs, because in a song you simply sit and follow the song, sing to the song, and the lyrics stick in your head. So instead of sitting and trying to learn the grammar rules, which are difficult to apply in real life, we did music, stories, and her level is good. She can speak, and we've never done grammar. I think grammar should be done when somebody's a little bit upper, intermediate, and above, because then you want them to improve their fluency. They can speak, but they're not fluent. So if a student cannot talk about what they did yesterday or talk about themselves, maybe grammar should be less. I don't know what you think. I've tried it in my classes and it works if we don't begin with grammar, if we begin with other activities. Let me know what you've done in your classes and how it's gone. And according to the book I read, it shows that mnemonic strategies are best suitable for beginners. There is nothing like grammar rules. You could cram a few grammar rules like the ones that don't require a lot of tactics and a lot of changes and a lot of understanding. So basically that. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye bye. See you next time.